Ar-lein ar Uniwaves
Ac
ar Express Byw.
dyma
Express Radio.
Hey everyone, welcome to Be the Change on Air. My name is Lily Mott, and I'm so excited to introduce my guest who has joined me in the Express radio station today. My guest today is Sophie Griffiths, and she is one of the presidents of the Cardiff chapter of the Friends of David Nott Foundation. The chapter's purpose is to raise awareness about the David Nott Foundation's work to train doctors to surgically treat patients and save lives around the world. But I'm going to leave it there and have Sophie tell us more about her work. So welcome, Sophie. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
I know, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So I would love to first get started talking about the David Nott Foundation and, of course, the Cardiff chapter. Can you tell me more about your mission and just what you're doing to raise awareness?
Of course. So we're, as you said, the Friends of David Nott Society Cardiff. So we're working alongside the David Nott Foundation. So they're a surgical foundation that train doctors in conflict and catastrophe zones. So that can be war zones, politically unstable zones, anywhere affected by natural disaster. So they work to train the doctors out there on how to do the surgeries, because the surgeries required in that type of environment are very different to the surgeries you'd encounter in normal day-to-day life. So the doctors that go out from the UK and train them have all worked in war-torn countries or conflict or catastrophe zones, so they're very well prepared to deliver the teaching. And it's basically a more sustainable version of humanitarian aid, going and delivering it to the doctors in the countries that are suffering these awful things, and trying to help them that way. So yeah, it's a really amazing foundation, and we've partnered with them to try and raise awareness and fundraise for them, so they can continue doing all the amazing work that they're doing currently.
Yeah, that's amazing. Tell me more about, I guess, what the training would look like that's different. Tell me more about what that, if you can. But yeah, tell me more about that difference.
So they do a course called HEST, so it's Hostile Environment Surgical Training course, and that course, they have really high fidelity simulation techniques. So they have it's kind of like a simulated body that they fly out for all their courses, and they've created their own really high fidelity simulators. So they have kind of fake hearts and different organs, and we've actually been able to practice on them ourselves, and they're amazing. They're so realistic, so they really help train the surgeons properly, and they take all this equipment out to help train the doctors out there, and they get to practice kind of like suturing, learning different surgical techniques, and as I said, these techniques are very different to normal day-to-day surgical life, so the surgeons who have done these surgeries in these conflict zones teach them how to do it, and yeah, it's really amazing to do it on all this new technology, which is so high fidelity and gives them a really realistic experience that obviously can't be created until they have to do those surgeries for the first time otherwise.
Definitely. So tell me more about the membership of your chapter as well. Are most of the members, I'm assuming they're pursuing a career in the medical field, are they at different stages? Do they get to join at any point in their university career, I guess?
Yeah, 100%. So our society in Cardiff is actually really new, so we only set it up last year. So it's really great that you've helped us, go on air and speak about it. But so it's definitely not open to only medics. We want as many people who are interested in humanitarian aid and addressing global conflict to join. That can be from whatever background. We'd love to get as many people from different backgrounds so everyone can talk a bit more and it's more open. But obviously it does attract quite a lot of medics as well. So currently we have quite a few medical students that are members across all different years, so 1 to 6. We have operating department practice students as well. We have biomedical students. We've had lots of interest from people doing many courses such as journalism, lots of different humanitarian courses. We've had quite a lot of interest so far from many different backgrounds, which is exactly what we're looking for. So yeah, we'd happily take anyone that's interested in humanitarian aid.
That's so cool, and I think especially right now with what's going on around the world and the current events that we're seeing in the news, of course, I think it's definitely really exciting that you guys are doing this work and supporting people in this way. I think that's great. Can you tell me more about your own background and what inspired you to want to become a doctor and to do this work?
Yes, of course. So I'm currently in my 6th year of medical school, so my final year. So hopefully graduate at the end of this year. And I have wanted to be a doctor for quite a long time. Just been really interested in the medical side and helping people and getting to communicate with lots of different people, all aspects I enjoy of it. And I've really enjoyed my training so far. It's been really interesting and given me a lot of skills. So yeah, it's been really, really good. And I've as much as I love the training, I'd love to mix it with a humanitarian aid aspect as well. I have quite an interest in kind of global conflict, and I've read a lot of books on it. And that's how actually I got involved with the David Nott Foundation. I read the War Doctor book written by David Nott himself, and I just found it so captivating and really impactful. And that's how I got involved with the foundation. And it's something I would be very interested in pursuing as a career in the future, looking into humanitarian aid. So yeah, that's kind of why I got into it and how I found the foundation.
Yeah, definitely. And what did the process look like to create and I guess found the foundation on Cardiff's campus? What was that like for you guys to get started with that?
Yes, it was a really good process. So I myself and the co-founder Jack got in contact with the David Nott Foundation. I'd actually met some of the faculty because David Nott did a talk at a conference I was at. His talk was amazing, captivated me even more. And the foundation faculty are just so lovely, they're all really helpful. So I spoke to them then and said that we'd both had this idea of starting the Friends of David Nott Society in Cardiff. And they were really, really supportive, said that they loved the idea. There's quite a few across different universities in the UK now, but we're the first one to be set up in Wales, so they said that they'd love to have us set it up. So that was kind of the first stage. Then we communicated them over email and set up some Zoom calls, and they talked us through the process of setting it up. So we basically had to go to Cardiff SU, tell them of our idea, fill out quite a few forms, show that we had interest in the society, and yeah, that's basically how it started. And yeah, we've been going through that since last year. So
yeah, definitely. That's so awesome. How has your membership grown from last year to this year? Have you seen an increase in interest?
Definitely. So last year we started basically just with our committee of 6. And this year we've expanded to 20 plus members. We've been to days to kind of raise awareness, and we've shown lots of interest through that. We recently did a bake sale last week actually to fundraise, and we had lots of people coming up and saying that they were finding the foundation really interesting and interested in the work that we're trying to do. And also obviously got to raise some money through that, and we have some exciting ideas coming up for the rest of the year. So.
Yeah, definitely. Can you tell me some about those?
Yeah, of course. So a couple more fundraising ideas. So as I said, we've done the bake sale. We want to do some quizzes, get people involved, and then what we're working towards at the end of the year is running a kind of humanitarian aid conference. So we want to get a number of speakers in who have done humanitarian aid, possibly get some of the foundation speakers, and we've got a couple of contacts who we're looking at to make it a really interesting day. And offer that to anyone who wants to join. Hopefully that will fundraise some money and also raise lots of awareness, and they'll just be really amazing, interesting speakers who are pursuing amazing work around the world and helping lots of people. So yeah, that's our grand aim for the end of it.
Yeah, definitely. That's so exciting. Can you tell me more about, as you mentioned, you read David Nott's book. Can you tell me more about the work that he's done around the world and just what inspired you so much to get involved?
Yeah, of course. So he's worked in numerous countries worldwide in some really, really challenging conflict zones and natural disaster zones. Done some surgeries which are very difficult, been in some very difficult situations, and over the years saved many, many lives. And I just think his work is so fascinating, so selfless, obviously sacrifices a lot to go to these countries and do the work he's doing and provide help to those who really, really need it. And the book is just, I'd recommend it to anyone. It's so captivating. He explains some really raw experiences that he's had, but writes it in such a good way. Yeah, it's really, really amazing.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool. And what was the name of that book again?
War Doctor by David Nott.
Okay, definitely. It's a good plug for anyone who's interested in that. That's awesome. So as far as kind of continuing with expanding the chapter and things, you'll be finished at Cardiff this year,
yes,
hopefully. Okay,
yes.
yeah. Hopefully. But do you have people who are, you're gonna pass the baton? I'm hoping, and
yes.
You'll have some people to continue to grow the.
Yeah, definitely. So that's our hope. So we've already got some committee at the moment who will be continuing their studies. So we're hoping to pass the baton on to them, and they've been really amazing and are just as interested in the foundation and carrying the work that we're doing. So there'll be amazing people to take it on. And as I said, we've been to a Freshers' Fair and stuff and got lots of interest there, so we're hoping that our new members might also want to step up and join committee and take it on next year, because we really want to make sure that the society and the charity lasts in Cardiff.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd imagine probably also expanding into other parts of Wales and stuff as
yeah,
well.
That would
I'm
be
sure
brilliant.
the foundation would love to.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if we can start looking at that as well, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know, Swansea and Bangor and places like that would be interested as well.
Yeah, definitely. What are the next steps for you to get involved in, I guess, humanitarian aid in this way, and being a doctor who does support people around the world? What are the next steps for you to pursue that work?
So there's many different ways to get into it. Obviously, being part of the David Nott Foundation, Cardiff Society is really helpful, and not that we would ever expect anything in return from a foundation, but they've been so supportive and have said that in the future, if we want to join missions with them, that as long as we have something to give to the people in the countries we're going to, they'd be more than happy to have us. And it's been so helpful being part of a society, because they put on a conference at the end of last year that we went to. It was held in Manchester by the Manchester Friends of David Nott Society. They did an amazing job, and it was basically kind of a taster into everything they do in the conflict zones. So they showed us some of the courses they give out there and did some of the tutorials, so we got to use the high fidelity simulators, and the war surgeons themselves taught us. It was an amazing day, and we also got to network with other Friends of David Nott societies around the UK from different medical schools. So that was brilliant, because we got to meet people who are like-minded and have similar interests, so it was great networking with them. And I spoke to a couple of people who have done some humanitarian aid in other areas as well, so it was really great to get those contacts. So I would love to do something with the David Nott Foundation in the future, and also look into potentially any other avenues for providing humanitarian aid, and yeah, working for them. So it's something I'm definitely considering. I might take a year out for after my first 2 years of being a doctor, to go to some countries and get some experience.
Definitely, yeah. Are there any countries or experiences that you particularly are interested in just now as you're thinking about it?
Yeah, I think I'd quite like to start off possibly with some refugee charities, and then work my way up from there, and obviously definitely hopefully be involved with David Nott Foundation himself as well. So yeah, it's quite exciting to see what might happen in the future, and hopefully just be able to help people as much as I can in countries that are really, really requiring it.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities, and I think that's so exciting that you want to do this work. I think it's amazing. So as far as kind of the Cardiff community and people who are in your position who may be interested in doing this work, what advice would you have for people who want to make a change and want to do this work, but they may not know where to get started? Do you have any advice for those people who may be listening?
Yeah, so I'd say just contact as many people as you can. I think people are so willing to help in this line of work. It's obviously what they do most, so I think they'll be very eager to help in any way possible. And we found that everyone so far has been so supportive and really interested in what we're doing. So definitely reach out. Obviously, more than happy to reach out to us if we can help in any way. But yeah, that'd be my main advice, I think.
Definitely. And what are the best ways for people to follow along with you and to support the chapter?
So as for the main foundation, they have a website, if you just type in the David Nott Foundation. And personally, as the Cardiff Friends of David Nott Foundation Society, we have a website on the Cardiff SU, and we also have an Instagram. So we're on FDNF.Cardiff.
Awesome. And do you have anything else that you would like to share, or
I can't
any
remember
other
anything
events or anything?
So we'll have that conference hopefully coming up.
Perfect,
we'll do
yeah.
another bake sale, and we'll be holding a Christmas pub quiz if people want to come along
Exciting.
to that. And we're also more than happy to take any fundraising suggestions from other people. If anyone else has any ideas or anything they particularly want to do, any sports events or anything like that, we're more than receptive to anything like that. So it'd be great to hear from other people as well.
Yeah, open to all of the collaborations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for listening, everyone. If you want to talk about anything I mentioned, please reach out to me by email at lily@bethechangepodcast.org or on Instagram at bethechangepodcast. And definitely check out the Friends of David Nott Foundation, and definitely reach out to Sophie as well if you have any questions. And you can find all of their stuff on Instagram, and I'll also link it in the description of this episode when it's posted as a podcast. Next week, I'm going to be joined by Ashani Patwal, who is a co-president of the Cardiff University Feminist Society, and we're going to talk about the work she is doing to raise awareness and promote gender equality. So listen live to that interview at 5 p.m. next week. But Until then, be the change you wish to see in the world. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for coming on, Sophie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course.